Hey, so this is just a quick flow that's going to show just a practice of how to set up and host a Zoom meeting. And just think about Zoom meetings just like you would any other meeting. You can have people who are hosting it, like in your room, and then you have people that join it, like they come to your room. And so the first thing to do when you're collaborating with someone else to figure out about a Zoom meeting, if there is not an obvious person to host it, you need to communicate with those people to figure out who's going to be the host. And then the other people are going to join after that person has set up the meeting. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to Hello ID, and then we're going to click Zoom Meetings. And I'm just going through my flow, what I figured out works for me. But I always click sign in with SSO. So we sign in real quick, and that should just take you straight through. Afterwards, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a new meeting. So we're going to click Meetings. And then we're going to hit Schedule a new meeting. And I'm assuming that right now I'm the person who's setting up the meeting. I'm going to be the host. If you're not going to be the host, you can just hang tight till we get to the end here. But for the host, we're going to schedule a new meeting. And then we're going to go through these different options here. So we can give it a topic. We can name it a topic that's appropriate for whatever the meeting is. If you want to enter a description, that's great. You can schedule a time. It is important to give it an accurate time, and we'll see why in a little bit. You can set a duration. This could be your best possible guess, or if you want to do a hard stop on it, put a duration on it. And then time zone is auto-generated. If it's a meeting, say you want to meet every day in this time for this amount of time, you can hit a recurring meeting and it'll just always have that meeting scheduled. The meeting ID, we'll probably just leave to generate automatically. If you want people to have to type in a password to join, you could have this box toggled that says require meeting password. But if you're just setting up a quick meeting with your colleagues, I probably wouldn't make them have to know a secret password to get in the door. So the video, if you want to have a video meeting and want to have people's video involved, you could hit on for the host. And if you want other people who are joining the meeting to also have their video be available, hit on as well. For the audio, I would just say both is fine. There is an option where you can have people dial into the meeting to get the audio. For the vast majority of us, because we're going to use webcams on our computers, computer audio would totally be sufficient. But I don't see any reason why you wouldn't leave it as both if someone does need to dial into the meeting for their audio. Meeting options, one that would probably be good is being able to join before the host. And that's like, say you're meeting with your department and your kid needed you to make lunch for them and you're 5 minutes late, but the other people in the department can join and they could be talking to each other or just be in the meeting at that time. Enable join before host is a good idea. That way everybody can just get to the meeting. I probably wouldn't mute participants upon entry, and the idea here is making a collaborative meeting. If we're thinking about something for a different purpose maybe, but if we're just collaborating, probably not. And enable a waiting room is something you could do, but you could just have join before host so people can actually just join to the meeting and not have to essentially be waiting outside of the meeting. Only authenticated users can join. You can do that. That would mean that they would have to sign in through our district credentials as well. And that's an option for you, but depending on how you share and how, as long as you're not posting the link to the meeting on Facebook or Twitter, I wouldn't really worry about it. And then you don't probably need to record the meeting. And then we're going to hit save. So now we have our meeting set up and scheduled. So we have our meeting, my meeting, and I can see the date, and I can see the time. If you click add to Outlook calendar, you can then add it to your own Outlook calendar and you'll get a meeting reminder if you want that. And then the key here to share this is the link. Anybody who you want to join the meeting, you would send them this join URL. So you could even just hit copy the invitation. So meeting invitation, copy meeting invitation. So now I got it copied. Now the question is, okay, so how do those people get it? Well, you got to communicate to them. Email, in this case, would probably be the best way to communicate to them, where you'd copy that information and then go to your Outlook, start a new email, paste that information in, and send it to the people who you want to join your meeting. And from there, when you're ready, you can just hit start this meeting. And once you start the meeting, it's going to download the Zoom browser. So you might have a little extension that runs and you need to click to install that extension. This will only probably be your very first time doing this. Another side note here is I'd really make sure you're using Google Chrome when you do this. If you're using Internet Explorer, you should probably delete that from your computer after you download Google Chrome and just make that your default. It's not that it won't work. So I just had to go through finish that setup process right here. Actually, I'll bring it over to my other monitor. So it's installing the shorten time, installing the client right now. Once that client is installed, I'll show you what happens next. So what actually happened here is that a new application opened up. towards the bottom of my screen that's cut off in this video, I can see a little blue icon with a camera icon inside of it. It's a brand new application. It's a Zoom application. So I can say join with computer audio. You can test your speakers and your microphone. To do that first, I'll just hit join with computer audio. And then if you want to start some video, you can also do that under here under stop video. I can, if I hit this little teeny tiny triangle, I can pick which camera on my computer to use. And I have my video going. And then I can also use share screen. And if I click share screen, I can pick which of my screens I want to share. I have 3 screens up right now. If you only have one, it'll be your only choice. And then you can actually share your screen with the other participants in the meeting. If you hit the little teeny tiny triangle, you can choose if only one person can share or if multiple people can share. And you can get into those advanced options later. We can talk about that later on. But the idea here is that you have the meeting going, and as other people join, they'll show up in the meeting and you'll be able to conference with them. And then at the very bottom here, when you're all done, you can just hit end meeting. All right, so there's kind of basic primer on using Zoom to have a meeting. If you have other questions, just feel free to reach out.